Markets have been absolutely crazy this week. Bitcoin all-time highs, and markets just up everywhere. But are we due to a soon correction? And what does liquidity tell us about it? So let's dive right in. Yesterday, I actually tweeted, like we really have everything up. S&P up, gold up, Bitcoin up, even bonds were up, and EM, so emerging markets, also up. So you see liquidity spreading all over the place. But at the same time, the more time it passes like that, of course, that we are more and more due to a correction. Doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow, but probabilities just increase. And for sure, as I record this, Bitcoin has corrected a little bit, but I'd like to put everything into perspective. So we have here the all-time highs of 124K, and then back to 118. So very interesting scenario here. But again, Bitcoin just acting as a global, not as a reserve asset just yet, but the fifth biggest asset right now, which is absolutely amazing. And at the same time, a barometer for liquidity. So it continues to do exactly that. But what I would like to get your attention on is the DXY. So our subscribers have already been warned about this trend of the DXY going down. So everybody just talks about how the dollar is pretty weak, but locally, so from July to this date, we have a kind of a reversal going on. So this is something that we are watching carefully, because that defines liquidity. That defines exactly how much leverage the money market is taking, especially in the euro dollar system. So the offshore dollars outside of the United States, and this drives a lot of the liquidity that goes eventually to Bitcoin, to other risk assets, and you see that also reflected into the S&P 500. So this is clearly again at all-time high. So it's incredible to see that setup, but it also provides a lot of oversold sentiment, and this may provide some turbulence in the future just because of sentiment itself. But if you go here to our latest report, as you can follow it, so it's for those who haven't followed it yet, it's our newest 24, so number 24, and pretty complete, highly recommended. And here I talk about how the Treasury is sculpting the curve. So basically, we're working on providing a lot of short-term debt, a lot of liquidity. So $100 billion in 4-week T-bills. This is exactly the pristine collateral that allows the market to generate leverage that drives liquidity up, at the same time refilling the Treasury account, the Treasury General account, what we call the TGA. So it's a counterbalance of liquidity going in and out at the same time. So this is very carefully crafted by Scott Bessent, and this has allowed for that account to start trending up again, which would be normally a huge turbulence for the markets. But because he chose exactly that 4-week T-bill, this offsets a lot of that. And we also have, for sure, a government that will, by all means, provide support of that market. And you see just Trump tweeting about it, right? It's a good day in the stock market, so maybe it's a good time to buy. You see a lot of those signals going on, and you just don't want to be bearish in such a scenario. That's completely absurd, right? So we have to wait and see, but it does not mean that you don't have any kind of turbulence here. So we might have some choppy waters. We also warn subscribers on the winter is coming part, but not only the TGA refill, but other factors as well, especially on geopolitics. And this can be taken as many opportunities for us to go ahead. But very interesting times. But now when we see the actual bond market on the 10-year yield, which is a reference for mortgages, You also see another work by Scott Bessent where the idea here is to suppress volatility. So you see that the 10-year yield was swinging more and more. So people got absolutely freaked out here when it went up, and the dollar lost global reserve currency status and all of that. Nobody wants U.S. bonds anymore, so with treasuries anymore. So it was pretty interesting. And now it's just stabilizing more and more. This allows for more leverage. This allows for more liquidity. So this is liquidity positive. So many counter currents that will create some choppy waters depending on sentiment on one end, where we see all kinds of stocks oversold. We see DXY, so the dollar oversold. We see everything. Stocks overbought, and we see the dollar oversold, and you see all of those extremes. It just increases a lot of the probability for a reversal. So this is why I'm going to check a lot on what's going on with the DXY, but at the same time, check what is happening with the yield curve and the TGA. So that's what we do on monetary mechanics a lot. And if we check here how it looks like right now, and now this is amazing because now we got colors on TradingView, which is good to see exactly what's going on with the yield curve. You see a lot of demand on the short part of the curve, so on the short end especially. So if you see here the 4-week bills, that is just going to be the 100 billion, they're just being sold. This is here, so and still a buying pressure, and especially for crypto, when we talk about stable coins, this is exactly what they need. So short-term T-bills, and this is also why we have this U shape, right? So that also gives a lot of firing power for the Treasury to just keep hammering T-bills with no end in sight, and they need that, and everybody needs that. So that's actually the craziest part about the monetary system, because everybody's just concerned with the $37 trillion U.S. debt, another threshold, another record, and it's not sustainable. But this shows how the unsustainable quote unquote debt it has an even bigger demand and an explosive demand that is going to happen right now. So it's basically a paradox, but it's unfortunately what we have. So we have to deal with that and know how what to do with our investments and position ourselves correctly. And of course, if you want to check more about how you can use that information and where exactly we are more bullish or bearish and how to prepare your portfolio, especially with Bitcoin, you can definitely check out on the link on the description below as well. All right. So I hope it was helpful, and see you in the next video.